Welcome to my home. Did you know that there's less than 90 days left in 2024? Can you believe how fast time just flies by? And in these last, say, 88, 89 days, there's some holiday stuffed in there. There's a lot of busyness stuffed in there. And I really want to, for myself and to help you, have a calm last 3 months of the year where we're prepared for what's coming and we're at a place of peace in our home. And I've been thinking about what are my absolutes in each day that if those things get behind, it causes me a lot of stress. And one of those is laundry. I love keeping the laundry up. Another is to just keep the dishes rolling in and out of the dishwasher because, you know, it's pretty hard to do meals if you don't have the dishes. And also speaking of meals, keeping the meals rolling. And I've been really trying to get excited about cooking again, and it's been very successful. I have been excited about cooking again. I think the cooler weather is really helping me to kind of drill down. I've also been trying hard to be more frugal in my food buying with food so expensive these days, and trying to really utilize all of my resources when it comes to food and when it comes to groceries and, you know, making very inexpensive meals. So I do have a recipe for you today that's very inexpensive because it uses cabbage. Cabbage is super inexpensive right now. And I just wanted to show you and get you motivated and thinking about how do you want to spend the last 3 months of the year? How do you want to go into 2025? And let's start preparing together. Let's prepare for the holidays together, and let's go ahead and prepare also for 2025 and how we want to walk into the new year. One of the first things I've really been focusing on of recent is slowing down. And if you've been visiting my home for a while, you know this. And it's really easy to just try to fly through. I can remember setting a timer, and I do still think it has value to set a timer to see how long it takes me to do certain tasks, because sometimes if I see, oh, it only takes 5 minutes to do this thing I really hate doing, it does encourage me to go ahead and do it. But what I've been trying to do lately is just to lean into whatever task that I'm doing, to enjoy it, to have maybe a window open if it's nice out, listening to the birds, to just really be kind of focusing on what I'm doing and trying to enjoy it as best I can. I remember seeing videos on romanticizing life, and it's kind of that idea of just romanticizing what you're doing. And I think that is why I like to watch YouTube videos, is because when I watch somebody else slowing down and doing their tasks and loving their homes, it encourages me to do the same thing. It really puts me in the mood to be cleaning, to be cooking, and doing all of those things around the house. It really does make for a better day when I do these things. Now, that cup I just put away, I kind of have a funny story, because I told you lately, it's like if something's downstairs, I'm upstairs, that if I need something and it's downstairs, I'm upstairs, and vice versa. Well, there was a cup I just put away, and what's so funny about why that cup ended up in the dishwasher is I went to get my cup this morning, and it was that Halloween cup. I've been using it and really enjoying it. It actually belongs to Yvonne, but she doesn't mind my using it. I took it out of the cabinet today, and it had a little bit of coffee in it. Like, I'm talking 1/4 of an inch of coffee. Isn't that disgusting? I must have been putting dishes away, and I saw that cup, and I just went ahead and put it away with the dishes, and I didn't even empty it. Like, I just thought it was a clean dish. I can't believe I did that. It's hopefully the last time I'll ever do that. I know it's the first time I've ever done that. As I said, my 3 things that I feel like have to stay rolling are laundry, dishes, and meals. What would you say your top 3 are? You know, I love to have my bed made. I love to have the house picked up. But I have to say that if I could only pick 3 things with a family here, it has to be dishes, laundry, and food. What would you say yours are? Let me know in the comments section below. I feel like one of the benefits of knowing what your priorities are is it does help you to take those breaks and do things that you enjoy. I've been determined to get some pine cones painted and to make some swags with pine cones. And every day I say I'm going to do it tomorrow. And then tomorrow comes and I don't get it done. Just the busyness, just life takes me away. There's always unplanned things that happen, driving someone to a doctor's appointment that you weren't, thinking that you were going to be doing that day. There's always things that come up in the day. And I really want to prioritize that time to start working on hobbies. It just seems like if you just let the busyness of each day, and if you're always running to get more and more done, there's just always something to do around the house. There's always something that needs to be cleaned or organized or decluttered or could be fixed up, painting that could be done, upkeep on the home. Those are all really good things, but if you're never taking any time to enjoy, after a while it starts to burn you out. So I've just really wanted to get my creative juices flowing and to get going on some crafts and some hobbies. And while we're younger and healthy and able to do those things, I do think it's important to be doing them and taking care of yourself.
Good morning, guys. Day 7 of her making the house cold. Yep, that's why a lot of you guys have been asking what I've been doing wearing this. One word. Her.
I just had to leave that in. I could not resist. Oh my goodness, Yvonne, if it's not 78 degrees, she is freezing. And I think the house was at like 72. I have been opening the windows lately because we just have this glorious fall weather. And I will admit there are times it does get a little bit cooler, but my girl likes it like 78, 80 degrees. She's always bundled up. Oh my goodness. She just loves it when it's hot, and especially hot and humid, but she's just so funny. There was your little visit from Yvonne today. Someone asked in the comment section if all of my daughters are working. So one of my daughters lives in North Carolina right now, and she is working, as far as I know, at a smoothie shop. And then my 3 daughters who live at home, my oldest, Rachel, is preparing to start putting her art in local coffee shops and that sort of thing. She's getting some art that I'm really loving because she's been getting into animals. She did one piece that's a cat, one that is a mouse with a mushroom, and she has others that are planned. I'm very excited about them myself, and I'm excited to see where that will go. And then Yvonne is working at Foot Locker, and she also is looking for a second job. And then my youngest is working at Dunkin' while she finishes up her senior year of high school. So all of them are working, and we're doing our best to get them where they need to be when they need to get there. So that's always a challenge. With the dishes done, it's time to work on some laundry, and I put a show on TV while I was doing the laundry, and I'm having an afternoon cup of coffee, and it's very relaxing. I absolutely love to fold laundry. I don't have any problem doing it at all. There's something, for me, it's super satisfying. There's certain chores that are so very satisfying for me, and laundry is right up there. I've been going through the show The Good Wife on Paramount Plus. We have the free version, and my husband and I watch Blue Bloods together. That's also on Paramount Plus. And I am hearing that in another week or so, we're going to get new Elsbeth episodes. I can't wait for that. We have so much fun watching Elsbeth. She is such a hoot. I tried watching the new, what was it called? Matlock with Kathy Bates. Let me know if you saw that. I don't know. We'll see. I'm going to give it another try. It wasn't what I was expecting, so that kind of threw me off a little bit. But I do love putting something on when I fold the laundry, and it feels like a break. I usually, if I'm driving people to work in the morning, if it's Yvonne, she works about 35 minutes away one way. So whenever I have to do a long drive, or if I have a meeting or something, or I take someone to the doctor, when I come home, it always helps me to completely reset. I'll get a cup of coffee, I'll sit down, I'll maybe watch a show or a YouTube video, And it does help me to kind of almost start the day over again, if that makes any sense. You know, in the morning, you have your coffee and then you get going on the day. And then in the afternoon, it helps me to have a break and have some coffee again. And it feels like morning and I'm starting my day over again. So I didn't have too much laundry to fold on this day. I folded up some of mine and some of Yvonne's. And so I'll get that put away when my break is over. And now I'm going to get started on dinner. So first I need to set up the kitchen and the dining room for filming. So it usually helps if I cover the windows at least a little bit lighting wise. And you can see the dining room where there used to be a table and now there isn't a table, but it'll come maybe in a couple weeks. You'll see a dining room table in there, but I'm going to have to figure out where I'm putting my treadmill, because I had my treadmill in my office, which is now part of the room that the teens are using now. So anyways, I am doing a kind of a, what would you call it? A decomposed cabbage roll. That's not the word I'm looking for. Either way, it's a cabbage roll casserole that I got the recipe on Pinterest. So I had a cabbage that was like half of a head, not even half really, but I'm chopping that up first. So what I was doing was kind of trimming off the edges. You know how they get discolored in the refrigerator. And then I'm dicing kind of 1-inch cubes of the cabbage, and I want 8 cups. So I'm just filling up this batter bowl with 8 cups of cabbage. My kids love cabbage. So I was pretty confident that this was going to be a big hit, and it definitely was a big hit. It also freezes really well. So you could, make it and you could freeze half and eat half, or, divide it up however you like. So I know that this is going to be a big hit, and also Yvonne's excited to take it to work. And if I feel like I still have too much by tomorrow, then I'll probably freeze the rest. I've been doing that a lot more lately, freezing leftovers, and then we'll take them out for the next week's meals. Once I get the cabbage all chopped up, then I'm going to be working on an onion. It said a small onion, but we love onions, so we had one that was quite a bit bigger. It doesn't really matter. There's really nothing too fussy about this recipe. It's pretty basic and super easy. So if you're not one to measure, real closely, you're going to like this recipe. I have a yellow onion here, but whatever onion you use or tend to have in the house, I'm sure would work perfectly for this. And yellow onion is very inexpensive right now. Cabbage is very expensive this time of year, so it's a great time to be using these types of ingredients in your recipes. I'm also using a pound of ground beef, but you could use ground turkey, ground chicken, whatever you like to have. I think even tofu would be really good in this recipe. So then I had approximately 15-ounce can of petite diced tomatoes.
Camera?
Permanently.
Hi there. My name is B-Roll.
Anyway, you're getting all the visitors today. Now I'm opening a can of tomato sauce, but I'm only going to use half of it because it calls for 8 ounces of tomato sauce. If you don't have tomato sauce in the house and you have marinara sauce, I think that would work just fine as well. And I'm getting down my 9x13 glass dish. So any 9x13 works. So you could easily half the recipe and do like a 9x9, Again, not picky. And I sprayed the bottom with avocado oil. Whatever nonstick spray you tend to use would be just perfect. And then it calls for 2 tablespoons of olive oil. So I'm going to heat that up. Actually, I'm going to heat it up too much. And I'm going to saute the cabbage first for 8 to 10 minutes.
Nothing to see here.
I threw in some more oil there because I was worried about the cabbage burning on the bottom, and burnt cabbage is nasty. And then 2 teaspoons of salt I'm sprinkling across the top. If I didn't want to put in more oil, I could have just put a little bit of water in there. That would have worked just fine too. So I'm just keeping that cabbage moving, especially since I had gotten my pot a little bit too hot. And once you've done like 8 minutes and it's, al dente, but almost cooked, you can remove it. And then we're going to be scrambling the hamburger next. This actually surprised me, but whenever I'm putting a recipe online, I like to do it as much as I can as the recipe states. And also whenever I make a recipe for the first time, I'll follow it. And then when I want to tweak it, I usually tweak it the second time around. So I'm getting all of the cabbage out. And then I did give it a spray with my avocado oil because I use the 96% lean ground beef. And so it is very dry. And so I thought I probably better put some oil there on the bottom. I'm going to get that scrambled. Okay, I was saying the funny part is you're going to scramble it, and then you're going to add the onion and 2 garlic cloves, which I just spoon the minced garlic in there, probably more than 2 cloves. Normally, I would have sauteed the onion first and then added the ground beef. This had you saute the ground beef and then add the onion, but it came out fine. So there's my garlic, and I'm just, as you can see, rounded tablespoons. And then I realized, oh, there's not much left here anyway, so I might as well just put the rest in. So that is what I did. And then my onion is going in. I'm gonna saute it, stir it around until that onion is translucent. The recipe said 5 minutes. And then once that is cooked up, you're just dumping everything else in and stirring it around. Could not be easier. So my can of diced tomatoes is going in, and then my 1 cup of tomato sauce, which is, roughly just a little bit more than half of the can. And then I'm going to preserve the rest of that can for another recipe. And then we're going to add our spices. For spices, all I'm adding is 2 teaspoons of Italian seasoning, dried seasoning, of course, and 1 teaspoon of pepper. And oftentimes I back up on the pepper, but I did not do that on this day, and I'm really glad I didn't. It really had a lot of flavor. I threw down some more salt in there, and then later on, I'm going to test it, and I'm going to add a little bit of crushed red pepper flakes, which I thought really was good. It really added a lot. Now what I'm doing is I heated up 2 cups of rice. This was leftover rice. They wanted it to be cooked, so if you were going to cook up raw rice, then you would cook up 1 cup, when it's not cooked, and then you're going to get about 2 cups out of that, which is perfect. We had exactly almost 2 cups of rice in the refrigerator left over, so this is a great recipe to use to use up any leftover cooked rice. Also, now I'm adding the cabbage back in. If you wanted this to be more low carb, we would not have missed that rice if I hadn't put it in. Also, you could use cauliflowered rice in place of it. That would have been really good too. But don't even worry about the rice if you are on a low carb, low sugar diet. The last ingredient it calls for is, I'm putting in the crushed red pepper right now, but the last ingredient it calls for is a cup of cheddar cheese, and in the recipe it said Monterey Jack, whatever you like for cheese works out great, and I would definitely agree. It didn't matter what type of cheese you would put in here. All I'm doing now is I'm throwing it in the 9x13 pan. My oven is preheated to 350 degrees. Everything is fully cooked. Everything is hot. All we're really doing is melting down that cheese. So once I get everything in the 9x13 pan, then we're going to sprinkle the cheese, and I put it in the oven. You're going to put it in the oven for about 20 to 25 minutes, and then it is ready to eat. And lately my family has been loving these one-pot meals where we just grab a bowl and throw it in the bowl and eat it. And we ate quite a bit of this. So It's definitely a recipe I will make again. Way better than the lentil chili I made last time. I also did a blackened chicken casserole, and I didn't get to film it for you, so I definitely want to make it a goal to cook that again really soon. It was very Asian styled, and it was super yummy. So I can't wait to get the ingredients and do that for you again, because it also was a very economical meal. But this was a very economical meal. It was 1 pound of ground beef. You didn't have to use the whole pound if you didn't want to. This, obviously 9 by 13, this would feed a crowd, because it fed 4 of us and would feed us definitely 2 full nights. So it would feed up to 8 people. And if you have a small family, like I said, this could be a freezer meal. You could subdivide it when you're done, and it could go in the freezer and, you know, feed you for days. Or you could half this recipe so that it was even more economical. Definitely yummy, yummy. You won't regret making this one. Putting it in the oven, and then by the magic of YouTube, there it is, all done. And I'm going to show you what it looked like in the plate. I hope this was an encouraging video for you. Let me know in the comments. Remember, as always, God loves you. I love you too, and I can't wait to see you next time.